All right, hello everybody. This is Chris Crockett. I'm the Vice President of National School Plant Managers. Happy to bring you the second episode of our Friday webinar. We're going to try and do one a month. The first Friday of the month, we had to push the schedule a little bit because of scheduling conflicts this month, but we hope to stay on task and be the first Friday of the months coming up. You may have noticed that I've got Pat Buchanan on here with me. He's the CEO and co-founder of Operations Hero. Stuart Eves, who is the CEO and co-founder, had a scheduling conflict pop up, so Pat jumped in and he's going to lead the presentation. I'm going to mute myself and turn my camera off, but I will keep an eye on the comments and pop in as needed. So take it away, Pat.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. What we'll do here is I'm going to share my screen, let the system get caught up with me. So again, thanks, everyone, for attending and also listening to the recording. You've got Pat Buchanan. I'm CEO and co-founder here at Operations Hero. And we're going to give you a quick overview to get you folks hopefully more comfortable with this concept that's among us all, AI. So today's agenda, we're going to go over the current state of AI. We're going to talk about some upcoming technologies that have been emerging and changing very quickly. Also, most importantly, how can you folks use this in your day-to-day operations? And along with all this, along the way, we'll go over a lot of tips for working with AI. So myself, this is my 31st year in operations, working with schools. And my early days in 1994, when I first started working with facilities, this was our data collection device that most of us had. We had, phone calls, paper work orders sent to us, things were faxed to us. We had inter-office mail, and then eventually some of us got modems. And then quickly in the 90s, early 2000s, we started getting more technology rapidly coming into your maintenance and operation departments. We got what's called graphical user interfaces. They made it helped us gather a lot more data. Of course, early 2000s, the internet took off. All our school campuses started getting online. And then a lot of us, the last 15 years, we've had these devices in our palms at all times, in our pockets. We've got a computer with us no matter where we go. We've got a mobile device that helps us do all kinds of actions. And now a lot of us, even with AI, we've got AI in most software applications that we're using, regardless if we have really tried to use it a lot. So this screen here will go through a lot more details later on. But for some recent professionals that we've done webinars with us, there's a quote from a gentleman we know, Leo. He's saying AI to this generation is what the internet was to a lot of us that have been in this industry for about 30 years or more. So it's going to be a powerful emerging technology. And with any new technology that's put in front of us, it's very easy to feel negative to us. It's very hard to understand how we use it from time to time. Sometimes we don't even know that we are using. So a lot of us today, we need to search, we need to find something. We go online, go to our favorite web browser and just type in a question. So you'll notice now, even with a lot of even just general web views, there's AI modes, especially if those of you out there that use Google, there's AI modes, there's AI summaries that's put in front of us. Also, we mentioned the mobile devices. If I use an iPhone, well, AI is going to be built into that device. If I use a Android, of course, there's going to be AI built into those devices. So again, we're seeing this evolve super fast, and it's moving very quickly in our operations, that we're seeing any software that we're using is constantly using the AI term. I've been fortunate to go to a lot of school plant managers associations at the state levels the last couple weeks, and a lot of those, I'm just hearing from vendor to vendor saying, "Hey, I'm going to these meetings in my company. That's all they talk about is how we've got to start using AI." I was talking to somebody in the furniture industry, and that was the big topic. This lady had sold furniture for 40 years, and now she was saying, "Oh gosh, I've got to understand this concept of AI to help my clients purchase furniture using our AI tools in our on our website." So again, very, very powerful. It's moving quickly, but again, I don't think it's definitely anything that we need to be scared of. Uh, Going over a definition, let's talk a little bit about how AI is working. So the big concept around AI is there's a large chunks of data, and that data is being scanned, it's being looked for patterns, and it's helping make a prediction to help you with some task. You've got a question, you need an answer. Well, let's look at large chunks of data and help come up with a prediction that can help you. Now, the other key thing with AI, just like with any other device, which is very powerful with this one, is if you got a question, you're trying to understand what's going to be the best tool to solve a certain situation, uh, you'll be able to go through and ask a lot of different scenarios about that. All right. The other important thing to know, uh, that's good to know for concepts, is there's a lot of different types of AI out there. You don't have to know and definitely describe all these different types of AI tools out there to be able to use it. That's again very important here. We don't have to be experts here. We just got to be comfortable with trying something new and getting comfortable with understanding how is it getting data and where did the data come from. Of course, that's another important thing of anything that we're trying out. Is the data accurate? Is it just like any other web search? We still got to rely on the sources of where that data come from, and we'll go through some quick examples of that very shortly as well. All right, so moving on, something that I've used in my software world is there's also a lot of different types of models and AI. One of those that's very useful for a lot of you is what's called classification models. I've got large chunks of data. I need to go ahead and classify that data. So let's go over a couple of examples, and you'll see here on the upcoming slide that I've got loading here. Like if I've got a listing of data, in my world, it's a listing of work orders. How can I help identify this work order to make this data more useful for me in my operations? So one thing that we see, well, a lot of schools, they aren't great at picking which craft or trade that a work order should be routed to. So one thing that we saw was very helpful as well. Let's take the description of the work order and help predict what craft category should do that work order. So that's a good example. Any type of data questions, you've got a spreadsheet of data, you need to say, hey, help me identify missing holes in my Excel spreadsheet before I go present it to my board. AI does a great job of helping you maybe come up with some estimates on some projects, helping me go through and take this data, put an inflation factor over the next 3 years to show what's the cost of doing this project today versus giving me a guesstimation on my zip code 3 years or 5 years into the future. Any type of data analysis, helping you refine data sets you might have, AI is a great source for you there. Now, maybe some examples of where it doesn't do great on for in our day-to-day maintenance and operations world might be priority recognition. A lot of our requesters, we see them type in all caps when they submit work orders. So a lot of times AI thinks, well, I should automatically bump the priority of that work order up to emergency when maybe that's not the case. So priority labeling, we found is not very reliable. So that's not been a good source for us for AI. um, get telling our system scan these work orders, look for any work orders that appear to be duplicates. That's been another very powerful use of AI to help cut back on duplicate work that our team's going after and trying to troubleshoot, trying to do the same work order several times. Maybe it accidentally gets assigned to multiple people, and now we got two technicians trying to do the same thing. So classifying work, great use of AI. All right. And again, as I mentioned, you don't have to know what type of AI to use it. Again, it's just good reference, point of reference for you. Next one, regression models. So, what is a regression model? What is that helpful? Really, you're looking at maybe chunks of data at different periods of time to help predict outcomes. So your building automation system, those do a great job at could potentially use some AI in there to look at maybe some runtime, maybe every 15 minutes interval data to help see that we're starting to have an issue with certain equipment. Energy bills in our energy solution, that's been an excellent source for us. Hey, let's look at our usage, let's look at our costs, and then we can predict when major outcomes come. Or looking at our past work order volume or costs that we've done on work orders on a certain period of time, that might indicate we're going to have a big increase on work orders. Being able to go back and look at different maybe periods of time for that, giving more predictions on not just seasonality, but who should be maybe the right person to do this job. I mentioned the other example earlier. Maybe analyzing my capital plan help me maybe prioritize which jobs I should put in this year's capital plan. Those are some other good uses. A lot of your security, safety type software, it has some AI functionality built into it already. I know vision is a very powerful one. A lot of AI tools can look at an image or a video feed and start detecting, is that a weapon? What type of devices are we seeing in the video or the image feed to generate predictions of that to make sure we're being safe. So again, that's been a very powerful one for us. Your smartphones, the camera on them can scan things, of course, like barcodes, QR codes, taking a picture of a piece of equipment, having it come back and tell you information about a piece of equipment. Again, those are other very powerful uses of some AI vision. Again, some safety systems look and detect, okay, even as complex as looking at someone's facial features and detect any type of things that we need to generate some alarms for. Oh yeah, hearing's another one. Being able to detect, we've got some vape sensors that some of us have in our campuses. We've got hearing detections, gunshots. So again, there's also other types of AI built in that. But I'll say the next thing that we'll jump to is what most of us are most comfortable with in AI day in, day out is using some type of large language model. A lot of us use some of these tools now. Your Chat GPTs, your Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, Gronk, um, whatever different types of systems you may use on your campus, that might determine what types of AI that you might need to particularly use. So if you're a Windows shop, you might be using Copilot. If you're a Google shop, you may be using Gemini. So just keep in mind the types of AI that you might use at your campus may absolutely be determined upon whatever types of systems that you have in place. All right. Let's talk about an example. Well, if I'm like this, if I'm sitting in front of somebody, I'm going out to speak somewhere in the Midwest, like I was in Minnesota and Michigan this week, and then I went down to Atlanta to speak at an APA conference. So when you're bouncing around like someone like myself, where I'm speaking in 3 different states in 1 week, then a good topic for me on AI was, well, tell me what the facility trends are going on for this state before I go speak to this set of folks. So helping you prepare, presentations. My kids, they're big on using AI with their school works. I've got some kids that are great readers of my 4 kids. One of them, that's like myself, not a very fond of reading, and he's definitely going to try to use AI to help summarize some of these books he's reading to help come up with outcomes. Math problems, AI's an excellent job at that. So again, it's the big thing that teachers are trying to get our kids comfortable with. It's not something you're totally relying on. It's a more of a tool to help it be a source to help you learn things out there in our classrooms. So again, help you any type of reasoning, anything where you're stuck, you need some help with generate some ideas. Speaking in front of your team, help me generate some topics on this. Let me take this large 200-page manual, summarize this and tell me the key points about this new piece of equipment that's showing up on campus. Those are some other great uses for AI where, hey, we're time constrained. We don't have time to read a 200-page manual. Hey, let's give it to AI and have it help summarize some of the key points. What's the key things I should know about doing PM on this unit? Again, those are things that AI is great on. Now, when you're using AI, and we'll give some more scenarios on this, you definitely want to ask, hey, is this the best answer? Where are you getting this sources from? Most AIs now will give you the source documents at the bottom of your search results. But again, those are things you can always, if you're not fully happy about some of your solutions, you can definitely ask the AI to refine that. All right, Chris, we got any questions so far we need to hit?
We don't have any questions, but I wanted to highlight a couple of points. You just made these points, but there are things that I've witnessed in real time. You mentioned if you're speaking at several different conferences in a week. As a national school plant managers, Kenny Wirtz, our executive director, just was at Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas, all in the period of about 10 days, and had to do presentations at each. Ken has embraced AI to the fullest extent, and certainly utilized that feature that you were talking about, to make sure he was speaking to the right crowd, right?
Oh, yes. Yep.
And then I sit on a board for Kansas here in Kansas, the United School Administrators, and they are rolling out an AI platform that is on the background and very protected. But they're rolling it out for educators to use to promote or to come up with their curriculum. But then they're also using it to grade work, so they can put the work into that program, and it tells them how much of that essay was AI generated. It's really incredible, powerful stuff. So just sorry to sidetrack you there, but good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, beautiful. All right, so again, that's a great example. Now, I mentioned, hey, sometimes our tools, they can hallucinate. They might not give us the best results. A big key thing here for sure is making sure we refine what we're asking the question. Like the slide I have on the screen now, we had some folks send this over to me and say, hey, I'm asking it a question, but I might not give it the best question. This was a question someone asked, hey, show me all the NFL teams that names end with the letter S. Now, AI is confused. They didn't know if I'm talking about the first name of the team name, the last name of the team name. So sometimes we're having to refine the question, ask it if it's sure. Hey, just double check this results until eventually we get the right answer we're looking for. So the key thing, if you don't get the right answer you're looking for, something's wrong right away. Don't be afraid to just drop it and move on and not trust what you're getting. Just refine your question, work on rephrasing your question, asking if it can do better. Again, definitely does great jobs of helping us refine those. So more examples for you folks. Let's talk about our efficiency boosts. How can it help us? We've got a generator. We've got a certain type of symptom that we're having on campus. Then let's tell AI what that symptom is, and then see what it can come back and tell us. So again, I've heard from traveling from just from the spring trade show season to now the fall trade show season. So many more of these speaks that I'm going in when I'm asking questions. Okay, who's more comfortable with AI now? What percentage of you are using it? Just the jump from the spring trade show season to the fall trade show season, where I might have had a third of the hands, it's well over 2/3 of the hands up that are using it mostly each day now to help some type of troubleshooting that their team's running into for their campus. So again, great use of, hey, something's wrong. We had so many folks reach out to us in our group that we ended up just in our technician page for the clients that are interested in it. We just started rolling it out to some early adopters where, hey, if I'm a technician, I've got a certain problem on, take a picture of the problem. Like here's an example where I had a swollen capacitor. Let me take a picture of it, or maybe just type in if I don't have the camera available. And if that work order was associated to a group of assets, then AI will go out, look at that manufacturer, that serial model, serial number, whatever information on the description of the work order and other troubleshooting notes, and go out there and help me diagnose that problem, help find out solutions. What tools do I need to take? Um, uh, how much time should it take me? What would it cost me to do this job? So again, those are some very great uses of AI, and based on our clients bringing to us that it's even powerful enough, but helpful enough to even put in a technician's phone where they can do it right from their hand. We've done this for now a little over a year. Also, it's getting so much better at knowing equipment. Most of your equipment manufacturers, their manuals, their documents are available online for free downloads. So AI searches have already indexed that data to help like generate PM plans. What are my PM recommendations? So again, those are things that are also helpful. Over 30 years ago, when I was first getting to the industry, most of my clients had a little paper clipboard on the back of a door. They had a little tag where we just manually checked off when we did PM. Nowadays, your equipment's become smarter. It's being able to send you folks alerts. Those are getting turned into work orders. Our technicians have PM tasks and procedures that they're just checking off on their phones. They're scanning devices. So again, those are things that are very powerful. And then even when we get new equipment, we don't have time to go through, look up those manuals. So it's been very beneficial to use AI to even help generate and build out um, task list for us, help us build out our PM schedules. So again, those are things that have been very powerful, very useful, where you can just go on AI and ask it. I've got this new equipment. How much I'm down to two types of equipment that I'm purchasing. What's the estimated cost of maintaining each of these pieces of equipment? Um, how much time does it take to do PM on one versus the other? Those are things when you're kind of comparing which type of piece of equipment you may purchase that can become very helpful for you. Other examples that I've seen campuses mention at recent trade shows, um, you know, I mentioned reporting questions. This is another one that I'll give you some real life examples. There's this technology is moving so quickly that we're also learning that hey, a lot of this AI can connect to data like work order systems that we've just recently connected it to ours, where I can just ask it questions and have it go out and do all the hard work for generating a report. I need an executive summary of what I've done in work orders this year versus last year, and show me graphs and charts by hours and cost. And then the system just goes through and starts generating all kinds of details for me to help get into some of those details to track and run. I've There's a new grant that's available to us. Help me have at least generate a template that I can, of course, refine for applying for some grant or some funding source out there for reviewing contracts. Hey, I got this contract from this contractor. Review this contract and give me any alerts of any things that should bring to my attention that I need to review more. So reviewing policies, working with contractors. Again, if you don't have the time to examine some of these large items in detail, then hey, give it to AI, have it help you formulate that data. Um, Going through the example of, hey, how fast is this moving? We've been trying this type of question to AI for now a little over a year. Hey, let's give it a picture of a problem, and what can AI come back to us? When we ran these scenarios in the spring, not very good results. But now, when we've done that same type of search just in the last couple of months, as different AI models have progressed, as their technology has got quicker and better, now we're getting a lot better data by just taking a photo or a short video and then telling AI, help diagnose this sound or this picture and come back and give me some details. So again, this technology, this AI items, it's moving very quickly. It's becoming more and more useful for us to use day in, day out. All right. So I've mentioned, a lot of folks are taking photos of things like pieces of equipment, taking photos of nameplates to gather information. I've we're amazed just see clients sending us picture of these nameplates that are, 50, 60, 75, 100 years old, and how AI is being able to take these etched nameplates and come back and give them some pretty interesting data about those equipment records out there. So again, if you say, well, I just don't think there's going to be anything about that, at least try your AI tools and see what type of information it can provide for you. Another challenge that a lot of schools have brought to us is say, "Hey, I need some total cost of ownership." One things that when you're struggling with your staff and you're trying to say, "Well, okay, how can we justify? Should we outsource this versus do this work order in house?" Usually a big problem when you're going to your staff or going to your higher ups and you're trying to present the case. Well, if we don't have, cost data, sometimes it's very hard to get that point across. So using AI to help gather cost data, use things that are efficient for us. So, in the past, a lot of times it's very hard to capture data. That's another powerful use that we've saw of AI, where when a technician closes a work order and touches how much time they spent, they hit the microphone, use some voice to to just speak in what they did to solve a problem. Well, we also noticed that just being able to give them the option to scan a receipt, take a photo of a cost record of it, maybe it's a invoice, maybe it's a just a receipt, just take a picture of that and have AI take that photo and automatically add that cost to a work order. Those are some other powerful things that just the vision of a smartphone, a camera, a laptop, a tablet, just a simple camera of that is very powerful for processing documents or just taking images of even just receipts and getting that captured into your solutions. I mentioned energy a little bit earlier. We don't always have control of our energy cost, but if we've got our bills in a system, then we've got all kinds of powerful tools, graphs, charts to help us analyze that. So AI is another thing for analyzing your utility bills. Let's look for things that are not normal. Let's look at the weather for our zip code and have AI help us give us some issues. Well, do we have an issue at our usage level? Do we have based on our trending, are we expecting more usage on certain times of the year? So again, your utility bills, your building automation systems, those do some great jobs of helping you. Again, just analyze and manage that. We don't always have control over costs, but if we have more data to help us monitor the usage, then hopefully that can help us find some issues and save us some money. Other examples where we've asked the audience recently, hey, what's some common research or what's some common searches that I need to put together? We hear people saying, hey, I'm trying to get funding for something, or I need to put together a plan to present to my board to get the backing for this project that we need to get done. So AI also has these concepts of deep research. Hey, let's give it a problem, have it analyze the data, create a report where it might need to spend several minutes crunching data for us to pull information in. So again, that's uh, another way for it to help build us a plan that we can edit it and build out more research. So some deep research AI is also helping us with that. Very good tool there. Now, going to the next area here when we go into some tips for using AI that I think is very important to mention. Um, what we've noticed is, well, for meeting with so many technology departments, then a big tip here is, well, typically each of your schools, if you're a Google shop, then your IT department's going to typically push you to say, hey, we want to use Gemini for all of our AI, or we want to use um, Copilot if we're a Microsoft. So based on the tools that you use at your district, that typically is where your IT department's going to make sure that your system's secured. That's another thing that we found for working with clients' data sets, especially working with massive groups and sets of data. That typically IT says, well, we already have security places into effect where our private AI networks keeping our data secure, but you still want to make sure you're not, um, sharing. If you're using some of these tools like Chat GPT, you're not under a school account, or even if you are in a school account, sometimes some of these AI tools may resell, try to sell data that you're uploading and sharing with it. So you do have to be cautious of what data that you are sharing with AI. Of course, we never share social security numbers, email addresses, those kind of things out there. So just be careful with your data. I mentioned earlier, also very important to be as detailed as possible when you're asking questions. And I'm going to give you a couple scenarios here in just a moment that goes in more detail to that. Hey, ask it if it can do better. You don't like your choice? Hey, is that the best result you can give me of this? Or I mentioned rephrase it or just keep asking it more questions about the data that it's providing for you. And hey, you also want to be brave. Ask your AI what it knows about yourself. I say it says here on this slide, you might be surprised what it knows about yourself. I asked this question, and then it started giving me all kinds of information about my sports betting information that I do for my little side projects tinkering with. So hey, it's going your web searches, your items, just again, very cool little things out there. Just go to your favorite AI tool and ask what it knows about yourself. So again, another little fun little task. And again, um, again, we want to trust just like any other web search, looking at Wikipedia. Hey, we want to trust but verify the data that we're receiving. There's no perfect science to this. Just like ourselves, hey, we're gathering, we're valuing data information here, but we want to always look at the sources of what we're getting. All right, what's coming next? What are we seeing out there in our large language models that we're seeing folks doing? Uh, again, I mentioned earlier, just from going from the spring to the fall trade show season, a lot more accessibility, a lot more software this is coming up with. And what we're seeing now, there's these things called agents. Hey, let me spin up this AI agent and have it go do this task for me. That's the big new wave that's coming. Not all the AI is fully ready to take advantage of this. We're doing some early testings in our account here. Very happy with what we're seeing. When I was mentioning going from spring to fall, when I was speaking in the spring, like in March, there's a little over 1,000 of these little agents that were starting to be tinkered in by different companies. Now we're getting close to 2,000. It's like more than doubled, getting close to doubling just in the last few months from going from way back in March now to October. So we've started tinkering with these. I'll show you an example of how this is being used today already. But I would say some of the new things that you're going to hear more and more folks talking about. We've embraced this called a MCP server. So we're using this model context protocol to spin up these AI agents to help our clients take actions on their data. Hey, I've got this question. Let me ask my data this question. Instead of me downloading an Excel spreadsheet, building a pivot table, pivot chart, spending hours building a report, why don't I just type a question or prompt or voice command to my AI tool and tell it to go generate this report for me? So again, if I need to execute something real quickly, I want it to do some research. Long as it's got access to my data, we're seeing some very powerful results that I'll show to you in just a second. I've got an example. I was working when I mentioned when I was been on the road lately. Somebody had mentioned, "Hey, I have these AED inspections that I do frequently. Hey, occasionally I need to go through and expedite these, and I need to make sure my team gets them done by a certain date." So I just typed in my AI prompt here. Hey, for the multiple AED inspections, can you expedite the priority and add a comment that I'll be reviewing this week and set the due date to this Friday. So just by typing in my Claude AI, this was the tool that I've been testing out for the team. It found 4 work orders. It found those work order numbers. and then it started updating those. And when I switched back to my software, I saw, oh gosh, all the color of those got changed. They got expedited. The due date got set for this was, I think, Monday when I was doing this presentation in Minnesota. And then it's automatically bumped up the due date for those jobs, added my comment. So again, I would have had to in the past potentially switch over to my work order system, touch each one of the work orders or bulk update them. So just by typing that statement, it had access to my security credentials using my district's AI and going through and updating that data into the system. And what we've seen is very powerful that for security wise, then these agents should use your campus security protocols. It should use your campus AI, your name, your password for your campus to make sure it's totally protecting your data. So those are some things that we saw that's been very helpful so far, and I'll give you a quick example. But the other thing that most folks that have been asking me when I've been asking in these settings, okay, how else would you like to use AI? Gosh, capital planning's been very popular. Hey, we got certain times of the season. I wanted to tell it, hey, scan my backlog, look at my assets, go ahead and build me a listing of help me prioritize and build some different scenarios. So in the past, we had to do a lot of work in software to tell it to go through and build out this stuff for us. Where now a lot of these prompts, I'm going to be still using capital planning software, but I'm just going to be going through and just telling it what to do. And then in the background, it's just going to go ahead and use the software and build out all these different metrics for me, whether it's, hey, I need my FCI, I need my current replacement value, help me prioritize the needs, show me, give me my inflation indexes. When I was working with our folks in Minnesota, they have a long-term facilities maintenance plan they have to report. So, we went through some scenarios in the class. We said, hey, tell us about this plan. It pulled up the information. I told it also, while you're doing that, look at my assets and priority rank my assets and give me a budget on what's my replacement cost and tell me by year which assets I need to replace on campus. And again, it does an excellent job of going out, answering some of those questions. And again, it has a lot of graphing tools. Just the natural AI has those types of tools already fully built right into them. All right, so again, we got a lot of examples that we want to touch on. We'll also go through and, like I mentioned, I want to show you a couple of live examples, but you're going to see more of your equipment will definitely, especially when you're replacing equipment, it's going to have some AI capabilities built into it. There's going to be, again, a lot more innovations in your software, helping you dispatch. How should I know who to assign this work order to? Which work order, which technician is best to do this type of task based on their current backlog? Those are all things of just crunching those types of data that is going to do an excellent job of helping you identify and track some of these things. So some final thoughts before we give you a quick live demonstration and then open it back up for some other questions too, is again, just like with any technology, it's evolving very rapidly. All the vendors that you use on your campus, again, it's going to be on those vendors to make sure they're taking the appropriate security measures to make sure they always protect your data, to make sure it's not being shared where it should not be shared. And then there's a lot of different types of technologies that your campus may use, and sometimes you may use at home as well. So again, I mentioned if you're a Google shop, you're probably going to be using Gemini, Claude, and Anthropic. That's another very powerful tool that I've seen quite a few campuses also use. It's very good for coding as well. If you're a Microsoft campus, then you're going to be using Copilot, some version of OpenAI's model. A lot of us have early on, one of the first ones was ChatGPT. If you're Twitter folks, you might have used Gronk as well. So again, there's a lot of different tools out there. There's also, if you're doing a lot of writing, there's different type. A lot of us have used a tool like Grammarly to help us with our emails. Most of your email programs now give you some summaries of your emails. So there's a lot of AI built even into just writing an email nowadays. Most of the tools also now, just in the spring, didn't do a great job of generating, creating images. Hey, we're getting ready to meet with our team, generate me a fun image or logo for this challenge we're dealing with. Or Fred's getting ready to vacation. Hey, take Fred and generate an image of Fred that where Fred's going out fishing. So again, those type of things where, hey, we're just doing something fun for a meeting. Most of the AI tools have these image generators, video creators even built in them where, again, just in the spring, most of them did not do a great job of that. That technology's definitely moved very quickly. Again, there's more video creation tools out there. OpenAI has a competitor. They're trying to go after things like TikTok with. So again, there's even a lot of video creation that you're seeing out there in AI voice generation, of kind of making a voice sound like maybe some actor or something out there. You need to create a quick song for your team. I've got this challenge. I got this meeting coming up. Generate this song in the reggae concept of this theme of this song. So Suno AI, that's one that we've used a lot for some fun internal meetings of we've got this challenge, we're working on this project. Create create me a quick song about this particular project we're working on. And man, they do a lot of these tools do a great job of again, just trying to lighten the mood when we're working with our team on certain actions. So again, if you've not used AI a lot, again, don't be afraid of it. It's just another tool in your tool belt for your teams to use, try out. So again, give it some prompts, ask it some questions, go through, and again, don't be afraid to give it a shot. And again, as we start wrapping things up, I did want to give you folks just a very quick summary. So I'm going to drag a web browser here into my share screen. And again, the AI tool that I'm using in this example is Claude AI. This is Claude.ai. This is one of the AI tools that I'm using. I have this tool actually connected to my database. So eventually, the way we really see this moving along is just like on your phone, it has an app store where you install different apps on it. It's definitely leaning towards that a lot of these companies, a lot of these AI tools are going to have these connectors or app stores where you're going to be able to say, okay, in this case, I'm using Operations Hero. All right, let me install that app from the IT department. And now anybody at the district that has access or security access to Operations Hero could go into their AI tool and ask it certain questions. So in my little demo account here, I've already got it connected. And then if hey, I got a challenge I need to look at, then I can ask it a certain type of question. So here I'll give you a real brief, maybe a common one that some of you look at. Hey, give me a list of all of my overdue work that has been created this week. So I can give it a basic prompt like that. And then again, it'll go through and start searching that data. Now, if you're not using a tool that has this type of capabilities built into it, you might be uploading an Excel spreadsheet of your jobs and then going through and asking it a question. So like in my system here, it went through, gave me, it's just giving me a listing of that data. Now, is that very helpful? Maybe not. Hey, give me a bar chart by day when each work is due. So I can just take that prompt, give it another question, and now it's going through. Now you see to the right, it's generating some different code here. Now, what in the world is this going to do? And it's just going through and building the constructs of how should I present that? So it's doing some work on the backside, and now you see it just all of a sudden took that data, and now it just generated me. Hey, there's my 19 overdue work orders, and now it's showing me day by day how many were due day by day, and I can scroll down and see it gives me a summary of that. So those are some pretty powerful things that AI can help me with. In the past, generate reports, coming up with an executive summary. I mentioned, telling it something about maybe I've got a spreadsheet of my assets, or my assets are in my system. Tell me something about my assets. Which equipment do I need to resolve the first? Those are going to be some very powerful things that you're going to be able to do with your solutions that you might be using. All right, beautiful. All right, so that's a one little example that I wanted to show out to the audience. Again, Chris, I'm gonna throw it back to you. Any questions? Any
Well,
other
we didn't have any questions
examples?
pop up. We've got some good attendees in here though, and I wanted to share a couple of quick stories on my end about AI experiences that are kind of funny. So you'll get a kick out of them, I think. You had mentioned at one point about taking a photograph of the nomenclature on the HVAC equipment or whatever piece of equipment it may be. And I know that there's technology out there now where you literally take a picture of that and it auto populates as an asset in your program.
Oh, right.
So that's a wonderful technology, and we've started shifting to that. And before we shifted to that, my technician went through and put in 4,200 assets manually. So you can imagine how much time that took. It took years. It literally took over
Oh,
years.
mhm.
Whereas with this product, it would have taken them probably a fourth the time, honestly.
Well, yeah, yeah, and Chris, the other thing that we've seen for it, we've given it some challenges, and we're in our labs. We've been at assets is usually one of those things that's hardest for most of our average school districts to really get populated in the system. So that's
Yeah,
something
it's
our team
time
says,
consuming.
oh gosh, so much time that it takes in the past to gather that equipment. It's so time consuming, or it costs so much money to have someone come on site, do all those services. So those are things that we've been trying to see. Hey, if I've got an AED machine, we bought the same brand at each campus. Why not just upload one photo and say, hey, at each one of my school buildings, create me an asset for this model number and generate a tag number for it at each one of my campuses. So those have been in that we're going to be rolling out over the next couple of weeks, is just helping to also create data. Man,
Awesome.
another powerful one. Hey, I've got a picture of a floor plan. Some of the campus said, hey, I'm getting ready to use your um, event scheduling system, but I don't have time to enter in every single room number into the software. I mean, that might take me months to go through all my 40 schools and go through every image and figure out the rooms that we rent. So a challenge that we gave AI this week was, hey, take this floor plan, take the image, you see all the room names from that diagram or this GIS drawing, go take this drawing, extract for this school, and automatically create every location and set up a venue in our event system. And within just a couple of minutes, it went through and scanned I think it's about 15 sites we gave it to, and automatically built out, a little over like 2,000 rooms in a database, and had it set up for us to use our event scheduling system. So all kinds of stuff like that. The
That's
AI,
insane.
oh gosh, go out and scan every one of my schools, download a picture of that school, attach it to the venue, so we have a better image for the community to see what that school looks like when they rent that facility. So those are again
Awesome.
data challenges that would have took us months and weeks to solve. Those are some other, I think, very exciting things that a lot of these AI prompts are going to be able to help our communities with.
So I mentioned that it was going to be kind of funny. Where I was going with that is, so my same technician that put those 4,200 assets in, we needed a piece of a part for a piece of equipment. So he goes to the parts counter, orders the part. It's going to be a 6-month lead time. 6 months go by, we get the part, and he goes to put it in, and it was the wrong part. It was the right part, but wrong piece of equipment. He goes back to the parts counter. The parts person put one number wrong from that model number, entered it wrong in their system, and that screwed it up. So we were at another 6 months.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
it's just kind of funny.
yeah.
Um,
Tell it to
Another
double
one.
check part numbers.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. 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 Tell an AI to, hey, look at this piece of equipment, double check
Right.
all the equipment, or download all the parts that this piece of equipment uses and add those to my asset items. That was one that that somebody in Michigan gave me as an example this week, where they said, "Hey, that's another problem I'm looking to solve. Is hey, tell it to go through, generate that, but also automatically add in the notes all the parts that this unit could use and filter sizes, so I always have those available."
So another funny story. This one's truly hilarious. A friend of mine is an insurance salesperson, and they get each year they have to recertify their insurance license, right? They get to take that test 3 times, and if they fail all 3, they're done for a year. Can't
Mhm.
sell any insurance. So he takes the test the first time and misses the qualification by 1 question. So he thinks, well, I'll get over on them. When next time I take it, I'll use AI. And he uses AI to go through it, and he missed over half the questions
Oh gosh.
because the questions are worded tricky and it confuses AI, like you talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was a funny one. And then the sports book piece, you and I have to catch up on that afterwards because
Oh yes. Oh
I want to know
yes.
how you're using that.
Oh yes. Help me with my odds this week, and help me with
Oh, I need you to help me with
these
my odds. I haven't hit
help
anything.
help help me with these point spreads as I'm reviewing
Right.
each week. Yes. Oh yeah.
I'm making those sports books rich.
Oh,
Well,
don't
hey,
worry. Don't worry.
Great
We
job,
all are.
Pat. Thank you for sharing all this with us. I saw that you were putting some stuff in. Share that with us.
Yeah. So you were talking assets. Review my assets. Help me come up with a plan. Prioritize my HVAC equipment. Help me come up with a 5-year capital plan on what's my most critical assets I should replace. And then I might tell it, hey, can you give me an executive summary with graphs and charts? Or tell it, hey, also give me charts and group by accounts and cost. And then it'll just go through and take some of this data, because again, these tables help me. But if you tell it, say, well, that's great, but also prepare this in an executive summary with charts to show the story here. Those are some other things that you can tell it about your data, and I mean, it does excellent job of kind of definitely helping you prioritize things.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's incredible. That's exactly. I mean, we all do the same thing in a little different way, but to my knowledge, I don't know many facility directors that aren't using spreadsheets to do their capital improvement.
Right. Oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, thank you for sharing all this with us and everybody. We look forward to bringing you the first Friday webinar series in months moving forward. We hope to see you here in Kansas City in April, 26th through the 28th. Make sure and mark that date. And again, Pat, thank you and the Operations Hero team for your time.
All right. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend.
You bet. Take care.